Hi, welcome back to my channel. For those who don't know me, my name is Priyanka. I am a law of attraction practitioner and an energy healer. On my channel, I post videos about law of attraction techniques, spell work, moon work that you can regularly use in your daily life, and you can start reaping the benefits from these law of attraction techniques. I know that I'm posting a video after quite a few weeks. I was caught up in something personal, but now I'm back, and this is one subject which is very favorite, which is a favorite of mine. I have been using it and getting results from this particular technique, and therefore I have been thinking about this content over the last few weeks. How do I come and share this technique in the most effective manner so that my viewers can start using this technique and seeing the results that I have seen for myself. So today I'm going to talk about a technique. It's a cleaning technique, just like Ho'oponopono. It is called Emotional Freedom Technique, EFT, or tapping, as many of you may be knowing it already. As I do in all my videos, before I share about a certain tool or a technique, I always give the scientific background behind it so that it becomes easier for us to have a faith and belief that the process will work for us. However, I'm reinforcing again that to use a tool or a technique, you just need to know how to use it. You will still see results even if you don't know the scientific background to it. Okay. So let's jump into the topic directly, and let me start with giving you some context about EFT. Now, let me start with telling you that this body, as we call it, our own bodies, this is a bunch of memories, okay? Memories that have come in from our parents, memories that have come in from our ancestry. And when I say memory, I mean the physical part of it and also the emotional part of it. So what do I mean by the physical memory part of it? So we know that we are created from the genetic material that we receive from our parents. Okay, and that genetic material has all the details of how we will look, what will be the shape of our nose, what will be the shape of our ears, how tall we will be, what will be our metabolism like. Okay, a lot of these factors are predetermined, but please don't hear that as not changeable. You can still change them, but some of these parameters come set along with our genes, and if we don't do anything about it, if we don't take control and try to change certain aspects of ourselves, we will go along that cycle, and whatever is in our genetic content, our physicality will be around that side of the things. Okay, so one example is many of you may be looking like your parents, or many of you may be looking like your great grandmother. Okay, and you may have come to know through your parents or through your grandparents that, yeah, their grandparents used to look like you. And that's because while you did not know these people ever, but a part of their genetic material got passed down as DNA into you, and you eventually have certain physical aspects which resembles them. That's why I call this memory, physical memory. Okay, now is it only the physical part of the memory that gets transferred to us? The answer is no. It is not just the physical part of things, but it's also the emotional part of things. The thought processes, the thought patterns of our ancestors get passed on to us. You will see that in certain families, people are very short-tempered. This happens, right? We know some families where, most people are very short-tempered, or there are certain families which are where people are very, very calm. And that calmness comes along, it runs in their family. They don't get, baffled at any crisis or in any crisis situation, or they don't get stressed out too easily. But there are also families which are just the opposite. So this is nothing but, the emotional patterns and the thought processes being carried forward through the gene. So it's not just the physical, but also the emotional side of things that we carry as part of the memory that we carry in our body and minds. Okay, so this is one set of information I want you to keep in perspective while we move ahead with EFT. Now, the second concept that I'm going to talk about is a very interesting terminology, which I recently came across. I saw a certain video of a YouTuber, and I found this very interesting. Otherwise, I would have explained it very differently, but this is a good term to use. Emotional constipation. Okay, so we know what is constipation, right? We eat whatever we like to eat, or whatever our daily food habits are. And then what the body does, it absorbs the nutrients from that food, and it gives away whatever is not required. It throws out of the body what is not required. Okay. And when the body starts withholding the toxins, what it does not require, and it starts keeping that inside the body, we call it constipation. Okay. Now, what is emotional constipation in that context? There are also certain emotions that the body keeps holding on to, the emotions that don't serve us, or the emotions that are not right for our bodies and minds. Okay, so we, in our day-to-day life, we interact with so many people in our family, in our friend circle, in our professional areas. We interact with people, and people come in all shapes and sizes. They will be their behaviors will be driven by their own experiences, and it's not like everybody is there to take care of our emotions. So there are times that people make us feel certain negative emotions through our experience with them, okay, of them. So we can feel anxious in the presence of somebody. Maybe somebody made us feel very small, somebody made us feel rejected, somebody made us feel pathetic. And those emotions, if we don't clear them away consciously from our systems, they start getting into our cellular structure. And when that happens, what we develop is this ease of the body, which we call disease. Okay, so we start having headaches, we start having a sprain, we start having a stiff neck, we can have a tummy upset, and all sorts of things. Trust me, even the most complicated of all diseases, it could be cancer, it could be an appendicitis, it could be a gallbladder stone, or whatever. Even those diseases which may appear more complicated than others, like a headache or a back pain or a sprain in the leg, even those complex diseases actually start from an emotional pattern. However, if we are able to recognize those emotional patterns very early on, we will be able to consciously clear them away from our system. And by that clearing technique, we will be able to restore our bodies again back to a state of well-being. Okay, so this is the background to this video. I'm setting the context so that at least you understand, what is this tapping all about. Now, since tapping is a cleaning technique, and I have also spoken about Ho'oponopono, which I largely use in my day-to-day practice as a cleaning technique. Now, what's the difference between the two? These are both cleaning techniques, both help us clear away any negative emotions or any emotions which are no longer serving us. However, what I have seen is when certain emotions are so deep inside our subconscious mind that they start showing up as a physical manifestation or a disease, as we call it, in such cases, EFT works a lot faster than Ho'oponopono. I will not say that EFT works better. Both techniques are really good. Ho'oponopono is extremely effective. People who have been using it, I'm sure that you know Ho'oponopono is extremely effective. But if you use EFT when you are having a headache, or if you are having a stressed out back, or you are having let's say, a sprain in the leg because of some reasons, EFT works a lot better when there is a physical manifestation of the emotional pain. Okay. Now, at this point, I want to share a story. By the way, this is a real story. I have heard this right from the mouth of a clinical psychologist. I was privileged. I had the privilege of being at one of her programs, and I heard the story there, and this was amazing, and I could totally relate to this, you know. So she was speaking about a certain patient, a young girl, maybe she'll be around 24, 25, and she was recently married. Maybe she was married some 6-8 months before this incident happened. And she was brought into the hospital with a pain, a terrible pain on the right side of her, on her right hand. And this pain was radiating right from her neck to her fingertips, and it was terrible pain, and she was not even able to lift her right hand up. She was right-handed, and she was not able, she was having this terrible pain on the right side of her hand. So naturally, the orthopedic came in, and they did a lot of x-rays, they did a lot of scans of soft tissues, and very interestingly, they couldn't find anything that was wrong with her right hand. But this pain was unexplainable, and she was just not able to lift her right hand up. So when they tried diagnosing this in this form, and they were not able to conclude on anything specific, her general physician or GP suggested that a clinical psychologist comes in and sees her. And that's when this lady, this clinical psychologist I am talking about, came in, and she started talking to this young lady. In the first couple of sessions itself, the clinical psychologist understood her background. So this young girl, who was 24, 25 years old, she was the only daughter and to her parents, and she had recently gotten married some few months back. She had gotten married in a family which was very conservative, and it was a joint family. In her own family, in her own paternal home, since she was the only daughter, she was brought up with a lot of care, a lot of love, a lot of attention, and she was given, plenty of things. So everybody, there were always people around her to take care of her. Okay, and when she got married, this was an arranged marriage, and when she got married into this joint family, she had to move into a family where there was a father-in-law, mother-in-law, sister-in-law, brother-in-law, and her husband. So quite a few people. So that was one change that happened, one major change that happened. And to add to that, her family, the family that she got married into, was extremely demanding. This also being a arranged marriage, she didn't have that very open, clear relationship with her husband from day one, because they both were new to each other, and her family, her extended family, was also extremely demanding. So they started throwing their weight around her, and like, you can't step out now, you can't go do this, you can't do that, you can't go out and meet your parents now, you can't go out and meet your friends now, you can't go out and work without our permission. So all of these things, which are very common in the Indian arranged marriages, some of this used to be common, and some of it is still common today. So she was faced with all of these challenges. So that was a huge cultural change for her, and she was struggling to cope up to that new household. Now, as the clinical psychologist continued her sessions, she realized that this girl had started to feel so suffocated in her new household, because she didn't have that deep relationship with anybody there in this new household with whom she can share. So her emotions were all bottling up inside her. All these, emotions of irritation and disgust and pain were starting to bottle up inside her, and she was not able to speak this out or release these emotions to anybody. So what happened is, during one of our sessions, she mentioned that each time her mother-in-law or sister-in-law or brother-in-law or her husband came in and tried throwing their weight around her, telling her what to do, what not to do, and they were being very pushy, each time they did this, she was getting so angry inside that she actually wanted to physically give them a slap. It might sound funny, I know some of you will be laughing, but this is actually true. She wanted to give them a tight slap. That's how she felt internally. Okay, she was so irritated. She really wanted to give them one tight slap. And I told you that she is right-handed. Now, this is something which is happening in her mind. She's not able to really give them a tight slap, and that is possibly that's not the right thing to do. Anyways, we all know about it. This is not how to deal with conflicts. So for 6 months, she had this feeling that every time they did something like this to her, she actually, in her mind, she wanted to slap them, and she's seeing herself slapping them. And that kind of gives her some relief, but she's not able to speak about it. She's not able to do anything, externally to relieve her emotions. Because of this, what happened, since the emotions were not getting cleared, these negative emotions started getting deeper into her cellular structure. And every time she imagined that she's giving them a slap, her her right arm and started, feeling that strain. And these emotions started setting in deep onto the right side of her body. Okay. And this is why she was having this unexplainable, terrible pain, which is why she was not able to lift her right hand anymore. So as soon as this became clear to the clinical psychologist, what she did is she did a few sessions. She did some hypnosis on her, and she did a few other, emotional clearing techniques on her. I don't know so many details what exactly was the course of treatment, but definitely she did some of these techniques for her to be able to clear away. And trust me, within the next 7 to 10 days, she magically recovered. She was able to start lifting her hand. She was able to function normally. And within one fine day, she just woke up at the hospital and she was absolutely perfectly normal. Okay. So this is what happens. This is one severe, very extreme case, but this is what happens when we start bottling up our emotions and we don't release them in the right way. Now, one way of releasing is when you are with people who you are not getting along with, you still go ahead and express that, but that is going to always remember that will lead you to a lot of conflict. You really need to be prepared how it will take onto the relationship. And people come in all shapes and sizes, and they have their own emotional ways, and they have their own experiences. So if you start going that way, down that path, you will lose out on a lot of relationships rather than going that way. So wherever you can, let's say you have a great relationship with your best friend and she hurts you, maybe you will keep it with you for a day or two, but then on the third day or maybe on the seventh day, you will go back and express your displeasure of whatever has happened. In the same way, if you are not able to do it for certain relations or for certain people, what you need to do is you need to know how to clear it for yourself without the involvement of the other party. Ho'oponopono is an excellent tool, and today what I'm going to show you is the tapping tool. Okay, so let's start with one tapping exercise and do it along with me right now. Do it along with me, and you can come back to this part of the video, and if you want to understand how the script for a tapping session goes on. Okay, so let's take any one common problem area. So for this video, let's choose how do we deal when some change happens in our life. Okay, when certain things are changing in our life, it could be in our professional life, it could be in our personal life. How do we deal with that change? So most people, they feel very anxious. It's okay, absolutely okay to feel anxious. It is okay to feel nervous. It's okay to feel fearful when we are faced with a change. And when we feel this change and anxiety, when we feel this fear and anxiety, how do we use? Let's see how we can use tapping to clear away these emotions. Okay, so you will start with this tapping here. This is called the karate chop move. So you start tapping here by stating the problem 3 times. So what would be a problem statement? What could be a possible problem statement in this case? Every time I'm faced with a change in my personal or a professional life, I feel very nervous, I feel fearful, and I feel a lot anxious. Even though I feel all of these negative emotions, I still love and accept myself the way I am. So you repeat this sentence 3 times. You repeat the problem statement 3 times, and you follow it up with saying that even though you know you feel this way, you still love and accept yourself just the way you are. Okay, so let's do it one more time. Every time I'm faced with a change in my personal or my professional life, I feel fear, I feel anxiety, I feel very nervous. And even though I feel these emotions in that time, I love and accept myself just the way I am. Okay, so you do this 3 times, and then you start tapping on these points. Come on, tap on with me, and releasing these emotions from your body. All the nervousness, release. All the fear, release. All the anxiety, release. All the fear, release. All the anxiety, release. All the nervousness, release. Under your arms, all the nervousness, release. All the anxiety, release. On top of your head, all the pain, the fear, release. All the tensions, release. All the anxiety, release. Okay, top of your head. So what are you going to do on top of these? Are your tapping points here above the eyebrows, on the side of your, on your temples, below your eyes, below your nose, on your chin, on your collarbones, under your arms, on top of your crown. And then the last move is this. You use your fingers, this part where the nail meets the skin. Okay, you do this again for all the fingers. All the anxiety, release. All the nervousness, release. All the fear, release. All the worry, release. All the anxiety, release. Okay, so keep doing this. You state the problem statement thrice, and then you keep doing this till you start feeling better. If you want to measure how much better you are feeling, and if at all you are feeling better or not, before you start this exercise, just think of a certain area, that a certain problem statement, and decide on a number on the scale of 1 to 10 where you are in that situation. Let's say you are feeling very nervous about a certain change. Maybe you are at 9 out of 10, or maybe you are 10 out of 10. So you identify that number on a scale of 1 to 10. That will tell you what's the intensity of your negative emotions for that particular situation. And you then start the tapping process. You keep on tapping, keep on tapping, keep on repeating this maybe for 5 or 6 minutes, and then ask yourself, where is that? Where am I on the scale of 1 to 10 now? Maybe after 5 minutes, you will be at 7. Or maybe some people after 5 minutes, maybe at 5. You will be able to recognize where your anxiety and feeling, how you are feeling about that particular particular situation as soon as you start tapping. And I'm 100% sure you just pick up any one area and you start doing this, you will see the difference almost instantly. So this really works very well when you are having a headache, when you are having a back pain, maybe a stomach ache, or a menstrual cramp. It could be anything, any physical discomfort. Just recognize the emotions behind it. What is making you nervous? What situation is making you feel that way? What emotions are running in your mind at that moment? Then define the problem, start the tapping, and identify how you have moved across the spectrum of well-being. Maybe you started at 9 out of 10 and now you are at 5 out of 10. Okay, so I am sure that if you practice this a little bit, and even if you can spend no more than 15-20 minutes a day tapping on certain problems like this, you will see phenomenal results in your life. Okay, with this, we will close this video. I really want to know if some of you practice this and see results. Please come back to this video and do share the results. You can also reach out to me on my email ID, which is given in my channel description. Till my next video, see you and have a good day.